Okay, we are all ready when you are ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'd like to call it Human Resources and Public Works Committee to order. I call out to the public, or the public. Okay.
There is no one online at this time.
Okay, our first item is consider approving the Memorial Forest Recreation Area lease agreement between Mount Pleasant Public Schools and Isabella County for a 3-year period effective April 5th, 2022. Authorized board chair to sign the same. You have Slim, Director.
Good morning. So
Good
the
morning.
Memorial School Forest is an agreement we've been in over a number of years, and this is a 3-year agreement. So this is a renewal of the 74 plus or minus acres that we own out at, or they, excuse me, the school owned out at Deerfield Park, Mount Pleasant Middle School. The south end of the park. It's under a management agreement. In the financial impact for this, we have funds available for the maintenance of that property. You know, we empty the trash cans, repair any facilities that are along there, and it's been a really nice agreement. Normally, we're to meet with the school superintendent and sometimes a building facilities person. That's been a little delayed because of everything going on with the schools, but the superintendent and I will be here next month, just due to her schedule. Can't imagine. So attached to this too, if you see the maps in the back. Okay.
Suanne, this is the speaker, so you'll kind of,
Oh, okay,
you want
sorry.
to project that way.
Okay, so this is the bottom part of the park, you know, Wind Road you see here in Deerfield, and just lightly just north of the river, this little kind of triangular piece, and then the square piece just above it's a little lightly, could have been a little, yours looks better than mine. But anyway, so those are the two pieces that we're talking. The school has owned for a number of years. You know, Hub Keenan, he years ago, I think as a boy, he had the dream of, you know, building this up and started planting with the schools, these pine trees, and if you go out there ever, are trees, they're, Bud is what, almost 90 years old, it's not 90, so it's pretty cool. And he was a teacher at the school, so always brought students out there, so it's just a really unique property. So. And then the second page shows you in relation to pretty, what I call it, pretty much. Newport doesn't like that I call it that because it's not GIF, but down below, see it says Memorial School Forest, so it shows you that our colored version for the, I thought that was a good little.
Yeah. Make a motion to consider approving the Memorial Forest Recreation Area Lease Agreement between Mount Pleasant Public Schools and Isabella County for a 3-year period effective April 5th, 2022. And authorize board chair to sign the same.
Support. It's been moved and supported. This item has been worked in regular sessions of the county commission next week. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. The item moving forward to the next. Okay, on that one, and now, consider a 10% retention pay for county parks and recreation seasonal employees who qualify when they maintain employment from April through Labor Day 2022. Didn't we already do this? I mean,
No, what we did the last meeting was, you guys approved the,
5 people.
you did two, yeah, you did the two things. You approved the up to 5, generally our park ranger, you know, the part-time folks that work out at the park, that if we have people that go year round, we have that option to have up to 5 that then would be able to qualify for PTO and
Holiday,
holidays,
the
the
two
two
holidays.
holidays. In the second item on that staff report, correct, yeah, but I also talked about our challenges with our wages, just briefly, that we did not come, we had 6 to 10 folks, depending on the time that we did not fill our roster for the season. And it's been a challenge the last 3 years, pretty much, just because, minimum wage has gone up, and then with COVID, really, that was really people weren't working, or then when they were, the state, then you saw the minimum wage or wages that were offered at entry-level positions went up as high as $14, $15 an hour. And so what we're trying to do is, we have in the past, before my time, seasonal people were able to receive what they called a merit allowance. So for every hour that an employee worked in the summer that was a part-time, considered a part-time person, they received an extra quarter, or up to an extra quarter, if they completed the season through Labor Day. So it was an incentive. So if I was hired in at $10 an hour, if I worked through the season, and let's say I worked 40 hours a week for just the 20 or 18 weeks that was the season, I would, at the end of the season, meaning Labor Day, receive 25 cents more. So instead of me working $10 an hour, when we interview them, we say, if you work through Labor Day and and if you don't even work through it, like you get a sub for a day that you're not going to be there, you're just responsible for that time, then they're eligible for this extra quarter. So you're really not making $10 an hour. You have the opportunity to make an additional quarter, so that 10.25, which was a little carrot, right? Well, what happened, and then at 40 hours a week for the season, it came to about $150. Well, that little carrot isn't that big of a deal to a lot of people right now, right? So I called around, and that's why I gave you this little box of what people were doing. And it was really Mecosta County. Mecosta County really has a challenge because of the industry out there, the water company that they have out there. I mean, they're paying people like up to $20 an hour as an entry, depending on their skills. So he's really has received a challenging situation. And I understand, since we're already into the year budget, wage studies I've been doing, I felt that was a bigger challenge to come in here and ask them if they get additional hours devoted to their hourly pay.
Right.
And so that is why I'm asking if we can do the merit increase, but instead of doing 25 cents, we would do the $1. We need some incentive, because we've already, interviewed 5 or 6 people now, 2 accepted, others are like, sorry, I got one. We do have a little bit of flexibility, and I did talk with our administrator about, Parks has Park Ranger 1, 2, and 3. 1 being like an entry park ranger, 2 is a little bit more skills, and 3 the same. That gives us a little flexibility, but it's still, the range is just not up there. And with Mount Pleasant even starting at $12.50 an hour, we are, we're like a similar job. I'm not going to say prettier parks, but I was, but I'm kidding. Just a joke with my friends over there, it's the city, but we just can't, we're not competing. And they're even having more of a challenge. Many people, and at 4 o'clock today at our state conference, I'm going to be zooming in on that. That is the hot topic right now, our fees. The challenge of getting staff. I mean, everyone's talking about it in terms of at our level. What are people doing? What are people doing? I think it's important to know what our mid-Michigan, our region is doing. And so with Mecosta being right next door to us, Mount Pleasant being $12.50. So if an employee comes in even at $10.52, they'll be making, they make it through the season, it will be $11.52, consider, right? But $11.29 makes us competitive with the entry level. If they're a level 2, that's what the $11.29 is. then I feel like we're at least competitive now. I don't know what Mount Pleasant's thinking of doing if they're going to go any higher, but I do know right now we're at 12.50. We can cover this in our budget. You know, and as you know, with the millage, that was one of our things, was to be able to be competitive with wages. It was, I mean, on a little sales pitch when we first started, because we were really always the lowest level of staff. So it's always been a challenge anyways to get qualified people. So that's what I'm asking, if we can just change the 0.25, 25 cents to the dollar for this year to try to be, it's a less controversial, because we're not talking about please include, you know, consider the wage and, you know, our hourly rate wage. But we are an entry level on the number one, what do you call that? The level for on the wage scale. We've got we've got park managers that are supervising 12 people at a level, you know, that isn't really on the scale as I would like it. But I know that's another story. So I don't want to go, you know, like we were never reviewed once the scale was made with the consultants, you know, at the time, just to discuss that a little bit, you know what I mean? So anyways, I just want to look forward and see if we can just.
This gives you another tool.
It does. So I don't know if you have any questions. I tried to.
How many people are you think?
Well, we usually try to hire 40, but it doesn't include 40. Realistically, 25 to 30 will not make it through the season, but just for various reasons. People are part-time, they get another job, they go away. So it's about 25 people and the hours. That's why I gave an amount, figuring our attrition.
Yeah, I know at the conference they're going to have employee engagement.
Oh, good.
That's throughout everything, really.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sue, and I would say if this goes forward out of committee, that you should work with one of the accountants, maybe Melissa, to do a budget amendment, because your staff report talks about doing a transfer to cover this, but it's really a budget amendment because you're increasing the overall amount of your budget, and that takes board approval. That's not like a transfer I can do. If you're gonna lower something to increase this, we can do that internally in admin. But if you're going to, you know, bring in an influx of fund balance, then that takes board approval. So let's just wrap that up all in one package and have the budget amendment in the full board packet next Tuesday.
Okay.
And if they consider it, they can just get that budget
Should I
amendment
add
done.
anything to the end, like in the financial, that it would be a budget amendment?
Yeah, sure. You can update your staff
Okay.
report that way, and we'll work on updating that motion too. So it would end with and approving the Parks Fund budget amendment in the amount of
Okay.
$25,000.
Sadly, we had that remain this past year.
In salaries,
So
Because you
maybe-
couldn't
so
fill the
I shouldn't be
position.
So discouraged that we wouldn't make it.
Yes.
That's what I thought we would do, but it may not be available. So no, great point. So thank you.
Thank you.
So you-
Yes, I would. I'll modify both and I'll talk to Melissa.
Perfect.
It's really great idea.
So make a motion to consider approving 10% retention pay for county park recreation seasonal employees who qualify with the maintain employment for April through Labor Day 2022.
Support. Supported to invite the board to the work in regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Ayes carried.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys. again.
Thank you, Suann.
The next item is review and assess the semi-annual 2% application from the Isabella County Commission on Aging requesting $522,348 for programs and services.
Good morning. Thank you again for allowing me to join you today. And I'm happy to represent Jen while she's on vacation. And again, this is just something we do every year, as you know, kind of the same thing. Just I'll review a couple of things with you with our application. Not too much has changed from before, and it's pretty standard. So our application is in collaboration with each of our 5 programs. And then all the services that we provide within those programs for Commission on Aging. The wonderful thing about this application is each program manager has the opportunity to speak on behalf of their program, share their what's going on with the program, share the needs, and what's the breakdown on how the funds can be used to provide services and activities for their activities that they provide for that program. 2% funds, I know that Jen has mentioned this before, but she wanted me to make sure I mentioned it again, that if they're not used for COA administration, all of the funds that we receive from the 2% grant go directly to each program and the services that they provide. Per the tribe's request, we submit the same application each spring and fall. So this application that we're using for the FY22 spring will be the same application that we will submit in this fall. Like you said, the grant request for FY22 was $522,348. Since 1995, we have received over $9.4 million in 2% funds. And that money has been such a benefit for our programs, for our seniors, for the activities that we provide, the services that we provide to them. And we're grateful every year that they support our programs, that they support us, they support the seniors. We're always just grateful for this opportunity. I don't have a lot since it's pretty much the same. Those are the kind of the things that Jen wanted me to cover, but she wanted me to make sure that you just understood for sure that these funds are going directly to the programs. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, I do. Isn't it usually they provide half of it at a time?
I'm sorry, can you say that
Chairman?
again?
Sorry. Isn't the case that it's half at a time, half of the amount requested?
Say that one more time. I'm so sorry. I couldn't.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Isn't it the case that we get half at a time?
Yes, and yes, that is correct. And in the past, I'm not sure, they might have even altered it. So we can maybe request that much, but it may be a little less or a little bit more as well.
What's the time frame on that?
When we receive it?
Yep.
I'm sorry, Jen, I'm not for sure on the exact time frame. Typically, if we request it, I want to say it's around June that we get the spring or May, and then in the fall, it'll be around, it's just after our fiscal year ends. So October, November, because that's why we delay doing our fiscal year financials, as we're waiting for that 2% to come in. So late fall and then late spring.
Thank you.
Is that am I kind of correct, Nicole?
Yeah.
You nailed it, Brandy.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And that's when the tribe disperses at
Okay.
those times. And so
Okay.
anyone that's successful receives them exactly at the same time frame that Brandy described.
Any other
Make a motion to reviewing it and accessing the semi-annual 2% application for the Isabel County Commission on Aging, requesting $522,348 for the program and services.
Support. It's been moved and supported to forward item 5 to the work and regular session of the county commission next Tuesday. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Ayes carry. Item 5 will be forwarded next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a great
Thank you
day
so
today. Thank you.
You too.
Okay. Our next item is review and access the semi-annual 2% application from Isabella County Material Recovery Facility requesting $75,000 for the recycling program. Jay?
Good morning, Commissioners. We don't do a standing request as the Commission on Aging does. we kind of target specific areas in our requests. It is still for the recycling program. And in that nature, it's a pretty standard ask for us. But for this time, what we're looking for is next month, we started a scale project at the facility, replacing the scale that was approved, which we received 2% funding for last year. And time frames did not allow us to get that done last year. That process starts the 1st of April. And we have already received some funding for 2% for asphalt repair at the facility. What I'm looking to try and do is once that 2% or once that scale project is done, I'd like to release an RFP to be able to do more than just spot checking or replacement of asphalt. I'd like to be able to try and do a lot more within the facility. So that's what it is that I'm looking to try and do, is upgrade the asphalt within this facility, as we're at the point where it's starting to look like the county's parking lot out here.
Easy.
Where it has some big holes in it. Sorry. No,
You can park
it
along
is-
Main Street. It's okay. You don't have to pull in.
You're absolutely right. But yes, so the 2% request is for $75,000 for an asphalt repair to try and clean up and beautify the area again within the facility. Make sure that we are trying to.
Okay. Review and access the semi-annual 2% application for the Isabel County Material Recovery Facility, requesting $75,000 for the recycling program.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Item 6, regarding the material recovery facility, to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The motion carries. Item will be forwarded to the work and regular session next week.
I don't know if Tobin got back with you. You gave us some dates out there.
It's not, sir.
Tuesday, the 29th. I need to talk to him. I don't think that's it.
Tuesday the 29th was one of the dates that I had told the
You,
Is it-
okay, we'll change it. then.
Maybe
I'll take a look at
maybe
that.
you misread that and thought those were the
Oh,
dates he was available. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's in the email, but
Okay, I'll take a quick look. Yeah.
I have
I'll-
previous engagement.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
we'll get it scheduled.
The next item is review and assess the semi-annual 2% application from Central Michigan District Health Department, requesting $115,000 for mobile medical unit.
Grab her chair. Thank you. I was asking Jessica to grab another chair for her. Yes, come on up. Good morning. She's got it. Thanks.
Steve Hall, health officer, is here.
Yep. Introduce Jackie Gillette. She's one of our personal health managers.
Good morning.
So the bottom line is this request, well, obviously, we've dealt with COVID for a couple of years. And one of the things that we did with some of the COVID funding that we got last fiscal year was to purchase 3 vans that we've been able to use throughout the district, especially obviously for vaccinations and things like that. Vaccinations. But one of the things that we wanted to do that we weren't funded for was to actually equip one of the vans in essence as a clinic. So what this 2% request is to, I think the technical term is upfit, which is a new term for me, but upfit the van to actually make it a clinic so that we could actually, one of the ideas, and when you look at health needs assessments in all of our communities, but it's Bella County one of them, that one of the barriers is transportation, especially in a lot of our rural areas. And what this will allow us to do is to actually go out into the community to do different things. Have a mobile clinic where we can see people right on site. And there's a myriad of services that we could do, whether it be STD testing, immunizations, hearing and vision screening, just a whole lot of things that this would open the door to. So that's why we're requesting $115,000.
think that's a great use of.
It's really needed and I think it's pretty exciting. I mean, we were all happy with just getting the vans in the first place and Jackie was actually a big part of getting the actually got the graphics on it, say health department and all that. And it looked nice. You can make it drive in a parade now. You know, you can get advertising, but I'm actually taking this project and moving it. I think would be a huge benefit.
Okay.
Can I have a motion, please?
Yeah, make a motion to review and access the semi-annual 2% application for the Central Michigan District Health Department requesting $115,000 for mobile medical unit outfit.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 7 to the work and regular session of the county commission next Tuesday. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The ayes have it. Item 7 will be forwarded to the regular session of the county. Thank you.
Thank you
Excellent.
very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Okay, our next item is review and assess the semi-annual 2% application from Isabella County Conservation District requesting $52,200 for the tire recycling program.
So I will take this
Okay.
one. The next two, actually, this one and the next conservation district application. So the history here, I don't think traditionally that the conservation district applications came through the committee and the board process. And Jessica, please jump in, correct me if I'm wrong on this process, but
Right.
because of the way the 2% application process works, you need an approval organization over the applying organization. And years ago, the county accepted the conservation district under their umbrella, if you will. And so the county is the overall approver of the conservation district's applications for
Okay.
2% funding. So they do come under us, but I thought it was important that they be included in the committee meetings, that they have an opportunity to come and speak. Crystal from the Conservation District did have a conflict this morning. Hopefully, maybe she'll be able to speak to the applications next Tuesday. And maybe Commissioner Engler will be able to as well at full board since, you know, he's on the district. But the programs that they've applied for are very long-standing programs and programs that the tribe has funded in the past. The first one is a request for $52,200 for the tire recycling program. And let's see. I loved that we all understand the benefits, I think, of overall recycling and reusing materials so we don't have to use virgin natural materials. But I love how she describes different benefits to tire recycling, like when you have a pile of tires, the water pools there and mosquitoes, you know, thrive in that environment. And so I love the benefit of less mosquitoes. They talked about even that water that sits in tires collecting contaminants and then leaching through the soil, you know, and potentially contaminating groundwater too. And of course, the big environmental concern with the tire piles is that they catch fire and they burn for days and days and days and days and days, and it's terrible. So there's proposing 6 collections, 2 per year over a 3-year period. And it would be to organize with the tire recycling company. They do these at the fairgrounds. And again, very popular. And I think it just amazes them that every time they do a collection that there's more tires.
Yeah, and Commissioner Engel, it's working out really well.
It really is, yes.
Okay, number 8, then I'll make a motion to review and access the semi-annual 2% application for the Isabella Conservation District requesting $52,200 for the tire recycling program.
Second, it's been moved and approved, supported to move item 8 to the work and regular session of the county commission signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. Item eight will be forwarded to the work of regular session of the county commission. Okay, next is review and assess the semi-annual 2% application from the Isabella Conservation District requesting $107,000 for the household hazardous waste clean sweep program. This is an
Excellent.
ongoing thing.
It is, yes. In the application, they note that 2012 was the first household hazardous waste / clean sweep collection. They did have support from the Saginaw Chippewa Indian tribe for that first collection, and since have recycled more than 361,000 pounds of hazardous waste. That 361,000 pounds of hazardous waste since 2012. I thought that was just phenomenal. The Clean Sweep program is actually a Michigan Department of Agriculture program funded by a surcharge on insecticides, pesticides, rodenticides, herbicides, that type of thing. And that surcharge goes to fund these collection programs. And so the Conservation District, in association with the Household Hazardous Waste Collections, gets a grant from Department of Ag and is able to also collect pesticides, herbicides, rodenticides, and they have done so to the tune of over 64,000 pounds of those types of things. So we all know where that would go if it didn't be, if it wasn't collected. Throughout the application, they talk about some of the other programs that they run at the district, the Abandoned Well Program, which helps to protect our groundwater resources, and an electronic waste collection. They don't ask the tribe for funding for the e-waste collection because actually they get a grant from Hewlett Packard for that. And so far have collected 191,000 pounds of waste. I think their e-waste is probably one of their most successful collections, most popular. They are proposing 2-year time period with 2 collections per year. So 4 of the household hazardous waste clean sweep collections for the $107,000 application.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Especially the waste. Some of them are so helpful.
Mhm.
What are you gonna do with that stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, we're semis.
Yes.
Okay, make a motion to review and access the semi-annual 2% application for the Isabel Conservation District requesting $107,000 for the household hazardous waste clean sweep program.
Second, it's been moved and supported to move item 9 to the board of regular session of the county commission next Tuesday. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The ayes carry, and the items will be moved to the board of regular session of the county commission for action next week. Okay. Any comments at this time? Call to the public.
There is not at this time, Mr. Chairman. You guys did fantastically for such a long agenda. It did, it really did.